Hello, Reformers, and welcome to a special feature of the Conquerors of Coultchorn, or at least that is how I think it is pronounced, and so we are going to be starting a new game for this special feature, and we're going to be checking out this mod and seeing what it is all about. Now, I have gone through the character creation just to check it out, just to make sure everything's working correctly on my end, and we are now welcomed and also warned at the same time. This module is meant to provide a great challenge to the player. Enemies are highly leveled, and equipment costs are greatly increased. Well, I'm not incredibly happy about that, I gotta say, because you know me, but nevertheless, it should be rather interesting to see what's gonna go down here. So, let us be a male, and we're gonna be selecting pretty much the easiest start I can, because obviously the mod appears to be rather unforgiving, and so we are just going to select every top option right here, personal revenge, and become an adventurer, and then we will be selecting a very nice banner. So what are we going to get? Well, what are we going to do? I would like to become a crossbow user slightly, because from what I have seen previously when I started up the game, the crossbows do appear to be relatively powerful. And it would be good to have a ranged weapon to try and level up, because if we are going to, well, try and fight some bandits and so forth, we don't really want to get into melee range with them too much, as they do have, as the mod has already stated, superior gear. Not just the robbers and various scoundrels, but other things as well. So let's just see here. What kind of banner are we going to use? I am not entirely sure. I do like this one quite a bit. Maybe not. Maybe... no, I'm looking for some... what about this? We're not going to be using a saber, though, or a scimitar, or anything like that. Ooh, that's quite nice. Let's use that one. Allow me to quit without saving. Yes, thank you very much. And we are going to be calling ourselves Reformist, because that is me. If I can actually type properly, that would be great. So, let's take a look here. So we have 4 Power Strike already. We are starting off with a huge amount of damage, and a good amount of leadership, as well as riding skill too. So what we want to do is make sure that our pathfinding skill is at a very high level indeed, because obviously we are going to want to run away from things, and hopefully not get caught at varying points. I'm going to level up Iron Flesh quite a bit, because I really don't want to get killed in one hit. That would be absolutely terrible. And I think that might actually be it for now. However, we probably want to level up another point in Tactics, just to make sure we're going well with that. And, maybe another point in Athletics, just to make sure that if we do get dismounted, then it would be a good idea. So, yes, let's level up those crossbows as well. And we'll head onward. Okay, so now I must mention this does use elements from the Florist mod. So I am actually quite looking forward to seeing what's going to go on here, because obviously the Florist mod does have a wide array of varying features, and I would love to see how they have implemented that. So let's just see here. I am going to want a beard of some sort. So let's go for something... I am not entirely sure. Something like that, perhaps. That might be quite nice. And no! Oh, I didn't want to change the hair. That was actually good hair, but nevertheless, let's just see what else we can get here. Maybe we can go something... Maybe... I'm not entirely sure. Well, what about that? No. That might seem pretty good. Okay, so skin, we probably want to change that a little bit. Do we? Oh, there we are. That actually looks pretty nice. Now, we're going to make him a little older here. He has seen the rigors of combat, and we are going to be making our way on. So now, do bear in mind, this mod has 6 new factions, as far as I know, and apparently they are a work in progress. So I can assume that maybe there will be an additional one, or they will be more refinements to the troop trees and so forth, which I hope we will be able to look at. So... let us see here. Board a ship? I'm actually unsure where we should go. Probably Shearstone. That might be a good idea. Again, I have no idea literally about the geography of this map, but as you can see, the map is entirely different, and there is actually a special village down there, which I have not gone to. So I would love to be able to check that out. Hopefully we'll be able to do that in this special feature. And so, where are we? We are at Shearstone. So let us head inside. Well, there's a tournament going on already. Should we try the tournament? I'm actually not sure. We only have 1,120 drachmae, which I can assume is our monetary values, of course. So we're going to be heading on to the nearest village. We're just going to try and recruit as many units as we can very, very quickly indeed, because, well, suffice it to say, the bandits prey upon you very, very quickly indeed. Okay, you receive word that Ravakane forces have landed on Coultchorn, led by Tyroth Lysandros. These are dark times. And with the various factions of Coultchorn vying for control in the name of Crymnand, no army in all of the land can stand against him. So, yes, if you didn't know any better right now, then you would assume we are going to be getting a huge amount of unique armies as well that are going to be invading the lands and so forth. So let us just move around here. We're trying to get as many as we can. Ooh, I'd like to attack those robbers. I would love to attack those robbers. Unfortunately enough, I don't appear to have enough. Oh, Ravakane looters. We want to be careful about those guys. We are moving faster than them, thankfully enough, thanks to our pathfinding skill. So let's hopefully be able to do this. Now, as you may have noticed so far, in the village screens, there are actually some female lords that have jurisdiction over some of the villages here, which I have to say is a very nice change. Now, let's just see here. Oh no, the Ravakane looters. Let's not get too close to them. I would like to, however, find those robbers. That's a brigand party, probably not wanting to deal with those anytime soon. Where are those robbers? Ah, that is so unfortunate because, yes, when I started my game beforehand, just to check everything out, there were very strong bandit parties in that area, and I can only say that that is actually pretty cool, because what we're going to be getting then is if you start in a lower level area, if we take it in terms of level, then what you're going to get is a couple of bandits, maybe around 10 or so in number, and then we're going to be heading on to something, for example, around here, maybe around here, and that is exactly where you're going to be fighting higher level bandits and more units at that. So I have to say that that's actually pretty cool. Good thinking there, because obviously then you're going to be able to level up any particular units you want to. And did I mention that this mod has Freelancer? Yes, it does. So we are going to obviously be joining a lord at some point. And I'm just hoping that I'll be able to speak to the guildmaster at Swinmore very soon. And instead, there we go. Okay, so, brigand parties. They are very, very hard to take on. I assume, I have not fought one, but they have cavalry, as you can plainly see. Now, I'm pretty sure the escaped prisoners and the outlaw fugitives are going to be not incredibly good at combat, but the brigand cavalry, they're just going to tear us apart. So, let us meet the guildmaster immediately and see what's actually going to happen here. Do you happen to have a job for me? Our caravans get raided if... oh, if peace does not soon... Oh, no. No, you shouldn't complain about it. No, so now that is a little bit of a problem. The guildmaster was going to ask us to speak to a lord and use our persuasion skill, which we, of course, do not have. Well, this might actually be good if the cattle follow me, so let's just see. One of the merchants here is looking for herdsmen to take his cattle to the market at High Quarry. 635. Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I will take the herd, and let us just hope that they are going to be following me. Okay, are they going to be following me? Oh, no. Okay, be careful. Okay, so mountain rebels as well. They... no, Highland pikemen. I feel like Highland pikemen would be very, very difficult to take on with just conscripts. So we're going to be a little bit cautious here, and it appears as though we are going to interact with the cattle herd and drive the cattle onward. Let us hope they actually follow me. Yes, they do. Wow, that's good. Okay, that is wonderful. So now let us see where High Quarry is. I'm going to assume that it is very far away, because that's usually how these things go for me. Yes, it is. It is actually on the other side. It is on the other side of the map. Well, this is going to be quite the adventure then, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to be making our way across the map, and we are going to hope that we do not run into too many difficulties. Obviously, we are going to be recruiting along the way just to see what kinds of units we are going to be getting. And speaking of that, I'm actually going to be saving the game right here because I would like to take a look at the troop trees. And I did not take a look at that beforehand, which I probably should have, because you never know, sometimes troop trees do have a little bit of problems with crashing issues and so forth, but this does not appear to have that problem. So, as we can see here, we have the Wyckland Faction, and they appear to specialize in pikemen and longbowmen, not so much in the cavalry department, but they do have some cavalry to offer. And it obviously shows you the costs as well. And, okay, so these guys are a little bit more balanced, but their infantry is not going to be as heavy as the previous faction. And instead, they are given better cavalry units by the looks of things. And, of course, they do have master archers with longbows. And then we have the Kingdom of Shallow Gleich, and we are obviously assuming that they have no cavalry whatsoever, and they are definitely going to have some very damaging infantry. But bear in mind, look at this. These infantry do not have any shields. At all, in fact. No shields at all. No matter whether you are a Tier 1 tribesman or a Tier 5, I assume, Tier 5 Berserker. So there is that to take into account. You are going to absolutely take a huge pounding from archer factions. And speaking of crossbowmen, whoa. I feel like the Shearstone was actually a good choice for us right now, because the pikemen seem to be very powerful. As you can see here, they are wearing pretty heavy armor, and they actually have an additional troop tree infantry, which are actually shield wearers, which is very, very nice indeed, as well as having the crossbowmen, of course. And then we have, wow, a very diversive faction here, and they have some very heavy royal footmen right there, and royal guards. Oh my, this might actually be the faction to beat right now. And then we move on to the Mythmere here, who have halberdiers and priest guards, as well as, horse archers. Okay, so they don't have very good, well, footman archers, but they do have some very good horse archers, as we can see here. They are actually the only faction with horse archers, as far as I can tell. So, yeah, there are quite a few differences in between many of these. This faction actually appears to be quite strong, as well as Shearstone. They do have some quite cheap crossbowmen to level up, whereas these are going to be the best crossbowmen because they are using arbalests. So there is that to worry about. But nevertheless, there it is. They are the troops that we are going to be hopefully recruiting a couple of them. And we have a victory progress button as well, which I'm a little bit worried about pressing, but we're going to try it out nevertheless. There we have it. Enemy leader status. So we have the Aetheling Caravur, and we have Dracona right here, as well as the Lord Aldrich of Apria, and they are all at large. So there appears to be a victory status as well, so could that be reminiscent of how Prophecy of Pendor did things? Because if you recall, if you've seen my series on that, then you would know that there are numerous victory conditions that you can fulfill for that mod, and, well, suffice it to say that that mod is very in-depth indeed, and maybe this borrows a couple of elements from that, and that is only for the better, I can say. So let us move on. Oh no, yes, Mountain Rebels. Okay, so Mountain Rebels are going to be quite the nuisance by the looks of things. I'm very hopeful that they will not see fit to attack my cattle. Where are my cattle? There they are. They're moving incredibly slowly, of course. 2.3 speed. Not great, I have to say, but nevertheless, we're going to be very, very cautious here. Our cattle are going to catch up eventually, so if we so desire, we could just wait at Nuzdak Castle for them, and we are just going to be heading onward to take on more of these volunteers. Now, of course, the one thing we do need to worry about is our wages, and of course, the smoked fish that we are currently eating up without any resupply whatsoever. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I probably should have taken some trade skill, shouldn't I? Well, maybe at a later point when we have leveled up a little bit, we may want to take some trade skill. This actually gives me a good opportunity to show off some of the weapons and the weapon variety that we can expect from the mod itself. Now, do bear in mind that this will change dependent on what faction you go to, but we are currently at Shearstone, of course, which is the red faction in the northeast here. Well, technically not. Well, it's kind of the northeast, I suppose. Maybe in the east more. And yes, they focus on, obviously, halberdiers, and as you can probably see, the bows have a very strange damage modifier. They are actually using cutting damage rather than piercing damage, which I have to say is quite unusual. Because as we know, piercing damage is the norm for that as far as I am aware. And, well, whatever the case may be, these are going to be requiring power draw 5. And as we know, they are going to be very expensive, of course. This shield is just absolutely insane. I can imagine you get this shield, and it is never, ever going to be destroyed, which is just absolutely amazing. Now, we do have a couple of iron swords here, heavy two-handed axe. They do seem to like their halberds in this particular mod, which is only going to help us against cavalry, of course. I may need to actually get one of those, because obviously we do not want cavalry running around and causing us a great deal of difficulty, so yes, we are probably going to have to see about that. For some reason, however, I feel as though the bows are a little bit low on damage, as you can see here. 8 cutting damage in comparison to my light crossbow, which has 30, and this is 7,000. So you can kind of assume that they are trying to lure you towards the crossbow side of things if you want to play as a ranged character. So, yes, nevertheless, there it is. There's a quick look at the weapons, and of course we can take a look at the armor as well. We have some very expensive helmets right here. But in general, everything seems to be very, very well done, and, ooh, I would like to get that rusty black barbute. That would be rather nice. And, yes, hopefully we will be able to. Hopefully we will be able to. And, of course, the horses. We are going to have a dragon warhorse in no time, hopefully. Yes. Not anytime soon, I don't believe, but maybe sometime. And so, yes, there's that. Now, we could head into the tavern, see if we have any companions here. We do have some hired swords. How much? Oh, that's quite expensive. Not really going to be spending that much on them, unfortunately enough. War Maiden. Well, this is going to be much more expensive, isn't it? Oh, my. Okay. Nope. Not going to be doing that anytime soon. 7,000. 7,000 to recruit those guys. Okay. Definitely not going to want to do that. Let's speak to Hansen. My men and I would like to rest here for a day. That would be 200. Whoa. Okay. Well, what does that give us? I'm going to assume that that actually gives us some morale, which would actually be very nice if we are down on our luck and we have some money to spare. Now, we also have an additional option here, which is, of course, to recruit some noble volunteers. Unfortunately, I am unable to recruit more than... Can I recruit 4 of them? I can actually recruit 4 of these. I really want to, but we don't have that much money just yet. After we have delivered these cattle, I feel like that would be a much better opportunity for us, but nevertheless, okay, let's just head onward and see what we can do. I'd like to head on to this village here. There we have it. Okay, so now we are going to be moving into unknown territory, really. We're going to be moving into the Kingdom of Senegoch, and we're going to be seeing what they actually have for us here. And I'm going to assume that... Oh, never mind. I was going to assume that they would not want to join us for some unknown reason. But nevertheless, we do actually have a rather decent army right now with a weekly cost of only 28. But of course, they are only conscripts. So really nothing to worry about right there. Now, I'm hopeful that our cattle is going to catch up. Ooh, this might actually be a very good opportunity for us. And that is to attack some bandits. 13 escaped prisoners, no less. So I think we should be fine here, but you know me. It is nighttime, and I am terrible at fighting at night, so let's just see how well this goes. And what kind of equipment is the bandit force using? Well, not entirely sure about that, but whatever the case, we are going to be charging straight on in here and trying to distract many of them. They have actually quite some good shields, so I'm going to be a little bit worried about that, I gotta say. Yes, okay, we've got some good damage on one of them there, but unfortunately they do have pikes somewhat as well, which we need to be quite worried about. There we have it. Let's deal some damage. We did 30 damage every now and again to one of them. And yes, there we are. A little bit more. I am hopeful that I'll actually be able to get a mace of some sort so that we can actually start taking prisoners and maybe using that as a way to generate income, because right now I think we have one in prisoner management. Or was I, well, lax enough not to actually spec into prisoner management? That would be atrocious, wouldn't it? Okay, so we're going to be refused, stating that they need it more, and oh, apparently we weren't able to take any of those guys prisoner for some unknown reason, but there it is. We've gained honor and some relation with the village, and unfortunately we're not able to do anything else there. Okay, so let us meet with the village elder. I would actually like to buy some food and supplies, potentially. Cheap. A cheap marble statue. I would love to be able to purchase that and maybe sell it on, but we're going to buy some grain just as a matter of course, just so that we can prevent ourselves from starving on the long journey ahead of us. And now we're going to be heading on to Sanuzk Castle. There was a little bit of combat there as well. Oh! Apparently I moved too far away from the castle. Okay, well that's unfortunate, isn't it? But, for some reason, we have now caused this fact. Oh, I think I know what's going on here. Okay, so nevertheless, about the cattle, that's not too bad. We have explored a little bit of the map, which I do appreciate. Let's take a look at the faction relations. Now, as we can see here, we have, well, literally no relation with anyone right now, but it appears as though if we don't head into a town, let's just see here. Yes, if we head into a castle, we are unable to, because it just gives us the ability to, well, siege it, and we are definitely not going to want to do that anytime soon, are we? So let's meet with the Guildmaster of Lysine, and we're actually going to see whether we can... Ah. Oh my. Okay, so as we can see here, we've had some fighting near the town lately, with all the chaos that comes with it, and that's led some of our less upstanding locals to try and make their fortune out of looting the shops and farms during the confusion. A lot of valuable goods were taken. And, oh, wow, okay. Let's do it. Deal with the looters. Okay. Let us deal with the looters. Now, where are they? That is the only problem. So, in the surrounding countryside. Okay. In the surrounding countryside. That seems a little bit ominous. Aha. Hello. Maybe these will be the looters that they speak of. Ah, no. They are the looters. Okay. Nevertheless, let's do it. The robbers have joined the battle on the enemy side. That is never a good sign. As we can see here, it appears as though the aggro radius, if I can call it that, the aggro radius for any potential enemy unit that you decide to engage is a lot larger in this mod. So do bear that in mind if you are going to be attacking some bandits. So, let us now take to the field and use our crossbow to poor effect, which is exactly what I always do. So let us make sure that we are able to get some good shots off on these guys. We need to improve our proficiencies, just a little bit anyway. Okay, so let's see what we're actually able to do here. They have absolutely no cavalry, of course, and okay, so I am just getting used to our crossbow once again, because of course I have not used one for quite some time. And I have not used one for quite some time, that's my excuse. So let's just try and actually hit someone here, shall we? There we are. Thank you very much. A nice +2 to crossbows as well. Now, unfortunately, they do appear to have some throwing spears, which I'm going to be a little bit worried about. Quite worried about, in fact. Okay, we're going to be charging our units in right here. I probably should have leveled up some of our units from that bandit attack. I'm not entirely sure whether we actually gained any levels. Ooh, be careful. Be careful. They actually deal a significant amount of damage with their javelins, but I am distracting them, which is exactly what we want to do. We want to distract them as much as possible so that we can get our units in there and hopefully see them deal some damage. Oh my, we need to be careful of those spears and the halberds and various other bardishes that they have at their disposal. Yes, okay, well they have shields as well, some of them, so we need to be a little bit cautious about that. We are taking out quite a few of them, after all. Okay, let's take out this guy if we can. Yes, there we are. Now, I would like to level up if possible. Now, I am going to try and level up some of our crossbow skills, so let's see what we can do here. And there we go! Oh my goodness, very nice indeed. Okay, I was really thinking that that would miss, but no such luck right there. We did actually have a little bit of skill on our side, maybe luck. Yes, most likely luck. So let's just head on here and see if we can shoot this guy as well. Oh, of course. Of course, I twitched at the wrong moment. Ah, yes. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see if we can actually take this guy out. Oh, 24 damage. Okay, we need to level up our crossbow proficiency after all, so let's try and make that count. There we go. Very nice indeed. So, yes, I would like to try and get a couple of headshots with this, so maybe we can get into a larger scale battle by joining up with a Lord's party. That might be the way to go. So let's just see here. Do these peasant women level up? Yes, they do, as well as these farmers as well. Very nice. So we do have prisoner management, which I was a little bit worried about not having. So there we have it. That's very, very nice indeed. We do have some pole arms right here, but I don't think I'm going to be using any of them. I might, however, be using this cudgel, because we are able to knock people unconscious then. So that might be an idea. The weapon reach it has is pretty lackluster though, so we are going to be having a couple of difficulties maybe working with that. And our ragged leather armor is actually pretty good right now, so we really don't need anything else. I would like to have this woolen cap, however, so I'm going to take one of those. We're actually going to take everything we can, to be honest, because even though we have no inventory management, it is going to be enough to at least sell at the nearby town, which I do appreciate. So, yes, let's just go into the marketplace right here, and, oh, take a look at some of the additional goods that you have here. So as we see, we have rose gold ingots, as well as fine marble lion statues, and various other things, and they all have unique icons as well now. As we can see here, fine grain and bread has been remade a little bit as well. So let's get some bread, and we're going to be selling the rest of our loot here. I'm not going to be selling one scythe, just in case we want to use it, and I'm going to be keeping the rusty arming sword as well. There's a little bit of cash there. Now, did I head into this tavern? I did not. So we actually have a couple of people here that we can speak to. Piran is one of them, as well as a maiden, as well as a fighter maiden as well. So let's just head upstairs, see if we can actually find a slave trader. Oh, no, we have another companion. We have a ransom broker. Excellent. Oh, my. I was actually really quite surprised that they actually had one here. 286. Very nice indeed. So 286 for our prisoners there. And we now have the opportunity to speak to a companion. I believe it is a companion, at least. Okay, I will join you if you want. Oh my. Nope. 2200. Not going to be joining us anytime soon, unfortunately enough. Hopefully this woman down here will decide differently. Ah, never mind. This appears to be a, well, technically a wandering skald, or maybe a poet of sorts, or a traveler? No, it is a traveler, I believe. Yes. I want to know the location of someone. I would like to know the location for troop recruiters? I haven't run across anyone, unfortunately enough. I want to know something about an important person, and of course you can ask about certain people here. We could ask about this fellow here. The sea people of the White Sea each have their own island kings. Ravakane is merely a loose confederation of these territories that united hundreds of years ago to strengthen themselves against encroaching human settlement from continental Coultchorn. In times of war, however, the Council of Siakon will gather to hold a moot and elect a Coninger from the kings of the 5 islands. The Coninger is chosen for his military prowess, chivalry, and intelligence. But some historians have noted that wealth plays a large role in the election. Therefore, these Coningers usually hail from one of the 2 most prosperous White Islands, Avashai and Tharokane. Tyroth Einar Lysandros was the Tharokane Sea Lord before his appointment. Tyroth is famed for his participation in the failed Senegoch annexation of the Shimmering Isles of Moodlan. Ravakane was called upon in the Isle's defense by Kamat and her allies, and Tyroth's fleet was the largest in the Ravakane navy. He smashed the Senegoch navy in the Blood Coral battle, and threw the late Tyrn's brother into the sea to drown. Tyrn Carwyn barely escaped with his life, and the evasion was thwarted. It came as no surprise to us when it was Tyroth that was elected by the council to lead a Ravakane assault on the mainland. He is a terrible force, and seeks to conquer Crymnand and Coultchorn whole. If the petty kings of this land don't end their squabbling soon and band together to meet this threat, this land is surely doomed. Well, thank you very much for that. Whoa, there is a lot of lore in this particular mod as well, just so you know, so if you are into the story, then that is definitely something for you. So, yes, there we have it. Okay, so we are going to be leveling up a couple of our units here as well. So I'm actually going to get 3 of each of those. And we're going to probably be going for quite a few more crossbowmen than footmen here. So 12 to 8, I say. That would actually be pretty cool. And then we'll head onward. Let's see if we can actually find a couple more looters. I think that would actually be really cool to fight a couple more. Aha! We have some more looters. Excellent. So let us head on over here, and we're going to be taking on these guys, and then we'll see what some of the higher level units are capable of, and I will cut away for that, of course. And so let's just take a look here. Okay, so we only have 10 against us, of course, as we currently do not have any robbers against us anymore. So let's just see what we can do with our crossbow, see if we can get a couple of long-range shots. No, that was a little bit too high. That was a little bit too high. Much too high, in fact. Okay, let's see what I can do about this guy. Oh, I was hoping for a headshot right there, but, oh well. We did take him out in one hit. Okay, now let's try and take some of these guys prisoner if we can. Oh, yes, there we go, and we have now advanced to level 2. And we are knocking many of these guys unconscious. I do really like using a blunt weapon over a cutting weapon. I gotta say, that actually seems to be quite the way to go. Of course, we are against units that have no armaments whatsoever, so there is that to take into account as well. So, yes, let's just take out that guy, and yeah, the rest of our units actually did not do anything, which was a little bit unfortunate, really. I would have liked to have seen them in combat, but nevertheless, there it is. Okay. So we can take all of those. There we have it. Thank you very much for that. And so, yes, we are going to be cutting away right here. I will be enhancing our progression slightly, just so that we can see some of the higher level units in action. And what kind of units? Well, I'm going to be trying to recruit from all of the factions, and then we will take a look at Wolf's Tooth as well. So, I will see you very soon. Okay, so, upon enhancing our progression ever so slightly, as we can see here, we have a rather significant army. Obviously, we have not improved our stats at all. We have not improved anything regarding that. We've just given ourselves some money, and we've just leveled up a couple of our units here. Now, as we can see, these are the noble units from Shearstone, and they can be 2 different upgrade paths. One is cavalry, and one is infantry. And I decided, well, you know what, let's try out some infantry. So let's actually take a look at this guy. Now, as you can probably see, if you have a couple of these, you have nothing to worry about. You really have nothing to worry about. As you can see here, this guy has no shield, unfortunately enough, but he has 105 HP. And I gotta say that that is absolutely insane and very amazing. So let's just take a look at his equipment as well. So as you can see here, he has a Myrmidon blade. He has absolutely amazing armor. I have no clue. He just has amazing armor. So what we are going to be doing is having a practice duel. We should use our own weapons. Okay, so now let's see. Is this gonna... Ah, yes, of course. Practice duels. I have no idea how they ever work, but nevertheless, we are going to level up Reformist here. He is only level 2 still. And we are going to be leveling up his intelligence a little bit. He needs to be a little bit smarter, obviously. So let's just see what we can do here. Well, I'd like to get some surgery to prevent some of our units from actually dying. That would be good. And I have found a Viridis ranging party, which appears to have some rather high-level units, as well as some high-level prisoners as well. So I would love to be able to do that, and as we can see, we are also near to Wolf's Tooth, so we are going to be taking a look at that, as well as Godswick Sanctuary. So let us head in here first, and take these guys on, or apparently we are unable to. Okay, well, whatever the case, I feel as though we probably would need maybe more units to fight them, or something along those lines, not entirely sure. Do bear in mind, this is in beta, so yes, it is a work in progress, of course, and I have to say, just a comment on the performance of the mod so far, is that it is absolutely amazing. There is absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. I have not had any crashes, and no frame drops, really. No lag to speak of. So, yes, there is that to take into account as well. So, if you're worried about that, then there's no problem there. So, let's head into the Sanctuary, and as soon as I've said that I've had no crashes, now I'm going to have one. So, let's just see here. You've come across a peaceful Godswick Sanctuary. The serenity of the scene helps you forget your troubles. Let's head in. Oh my, we actually have someone here. Hello. Greetings! Welcome to the Omiad Godswick Sanctuary. I'd like to purchase Godswick products. Okay. I will show you what goods I have to offer, but you may be better off asking some of the... Oh my. Wow, this is actually very cool. Okay, so we have to buy these, but obviously they give a huge amount to party morale, which I gotta say is very, very nice. And that appears to be that. So, can I actually speak to any of the workers? Because she does say that I can actually speak to some of the workers, which would be pretty cool to do. But as you can see, you can actually buy food here, which gives a grand amount of party morale, which I gotta say is actually very cool. I would like to be able to do that when we have some problems with morale, of course, but yes, nevertheless, that appears to be all there is there, which is a little unfortunate, but rather nice to be able to gain some food back if you are at war in this territory. Can you imagine being at war in this territory and then thinking, oh, I need some food? Well, there you go. That's where you head to. So that's very, very cool, I gotta say. I can imagine that that would actually be pretty reminiscent of how I would always play this game, yes. Low on morale, low on food, and in enemy territory, and have literally nowhere to run apart from the sanctuary. So, yes, maybe a good idea to go there. Now, we are going to attempt to get to Wolf's Tooth. Now, as you can see, I am running around here. There is a salt mine over there, if you so desire. If you so desire to enslave a couple of units and cause them to work for you. I do know that actually salt mining is very lucrative if you do it right. I have never done it right, so obviously if you know how to, then yes, good luck there. And now we will head on to Wolf's Tooth and see what is actually going on here. Your party lands on the shores of Wolf's Tooth. There is a Nick settlement here, teeming with fishermen and carpenters. The smiling faces and light atmosphere allow you to forget the war for the briefest instant. Enter the settlement. Oh my. Okay, I gotta say, this is actually very cool. I like this. A settlement on an island in the middle of nowhere. Now that's very, very cool. I'd like to purchase goods. I don't have very much. I'll show you what wares I have to sell, but you might want to talk to some of the other villagers for a more expansive selection. And as we can see here, we have spice and salt and some smoked fish as well. So I can assume that if you wanted to trade or be a trader in this particular mod, then you could buy some salt and various other things here. And we're going to just check out the rest of these guys. And Grund Sharktooth. How is life here? It's the most calm you'll see on Coultchorn. What with the war and all. Oh my, okay, well, there we go. We have some fishermen here as well. Obviously, we are going to be buying... Whoa, okay, he has a lot of fish. He has a lot of salt as well. We could actually buy some salt and see if we could gain a profit from that. That would actually be pretty cool. Why are you so grumpy? Why? I don't know. Maybe it's being forced to peddle salted fish in the hot sun all day by some creaky old layabout to pay for a wedding dower. Take it from me, if you fall in love, never fall in love with a girl with greedy parents, or at least run away with her before proposing. I can help pay for your dower. Yes, I can. What, seriously? You're joking. This is no joke. Oh, well, my betrothed father is asking for a sum of 300 to allow me to... Okay. There you go. We gain some honor and 10 renown. I can't believe this. This just made hawking fish much less distasteful. Thank you, strange person. You've given me my life. But I still have to sell fish for as long as old Gunnar tells me to. Oh, well. Okay, well, that was rather amusing interactions right there. I like that. And we have Alf here as well. And he sells some good sabers. Oh, yes, he does. He sells some good sabers and daggers, as we can see here. Oh, my. Look at that pike. Well, I actually don't have... Oh, I have enough of this spear. Shall we use this spear? Why not? And we're going to be taking something else like this Masterwork Saber. You don't even need to have any strength requirement to use these sabers. That is absolutely amazing. I like that a lot. Look at that. That's very cool. So as we can see, look at this. We now have a pike with a skull on the end of it, which I got to say is quite frightening. But there it is. Wow, that is actually very cool. So yes, without further ado, we're going to be getting out of here. And we're going to be making our way over to one of the castles. Maybe if we can actually find someone to attack Oh my, look at this. The Guithian elite have amassed an army to exploit Coultchorn. So let's try to avoid them, shall we? Maybe not. Maybe we should deal some damage to them. Well, if we can find them, then I will. Ravacane looters, let's do it. Let's try out our new units. We want to see our Myrmidons in action, of course. Of course we do. So, we do have some cavalry, which I'm a little bit worried about, to be honest, because these guys are probably just going to charge straight on in here and actually deal damage before the Myrmidons have any opportunity to gain any ground. Obviously, they do have exceptional movement speed, thanks to their athletic skill, but otherwise, not too much to write home about there. So, yes, we need to be a little bit cautious there, but nevertheless, we are against looters after all, so really nothing to worry about as far as I am aware, but as soon as I say that, you know it's going to be trouble, because we're probably going to get killed instantly. Probably. So let's just charge in our units right here. We are in a pretty good position to do so, because we have the high ground, as you can see. Our cavalry is just charging straight on in there. Hopefully they will deal some damage. Okay, no kills to speak of just yet. Hopefully these Ravacane guys are actually not incredibly difficult to kill. Do bear in mind, I actually do have some polearm skill, so it would be rather nice to actually deal some damage and actually get some kills. But these guys actually have a good amount of armor, as we can probably see. I did 64 damage, and one of them was still able to survive one of our hits. So I'm actually going to try to be a little cautious here, because we need to make sure that we stay alive, don't we? Somewhat. I'm going to switch to my saber. Let's see if we can actually deal some damage with it. Yes, there we are. 11 damage. Okay, yes. Probably should have stuck with my club, because the blunt damage seems to be a little bit more effective, perhaps. So let's just see what we can do here. Come on. We can try and finish off the remaining opponents. And there we have it. A victory for us without losing... Oh, we actually lost one unit. Wow, that is quite a testament to how good the Ravacane units actually are. So do be careful if you encounter some of those on your travels. And so, there we have it. We have a couple more pieces of loot here, which we can actually use. We need 14 strength to use this ringmail. But, yes, of course, we do not have that right now. But there it is. A small look at the mod, the Conquerors of Coultchorn? Yes. No idea. No idea how to pronounce it, but hopefully someone out there will know. And so, I thank you very much for watching this special feature, and I will see you next time.